Wow, I forgot how good Thor was. Like, wow. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and yeah, you saw the title and thumbnail correctly. We are talking about Thor. The next movie, because if you don't know, I've been trying to rewatch the MCU movies leading up to Doomsday. Hopefully we get through them all in time. There's a lot, and we're still in phase 1. But we're trying to get through them, and also I have not been feeling the greatest lately, so hopefully, I don't think you can tell through the mic, but if you can, if I sound any different, that is why, and I apologize if that's the case, but I don't think so. But yeah, next up, we are talking about Thor. We got through Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, now we're on Thor. And I forgot how good this movie was, because I remember growing up watching this one. It was always one of my lesser favorite ones. I was never too big into this first Thor movie, and I think part of it was growing up. I just didn't find it very. I found it kind of boring. I think as a kid, it wasn't. I don't even know, action packed enough or what something. And I remember it was pretty low on like my MCU rankings, and then I watched it again, and I was blown away. It was almost like I was watching this movie again for the first time, almost, but with a new perspective. That's the right word. Just getting old. I don't know if that's the right perspective or not, but I mean, kinda, because like I was just like in awe of how much my opinion has changed on Thor, and I do think that is part of me like appreciating more things about it, and also just I don't need constant action anymore to keep me entertained like I used to as a kid, because I know that was something as a kid. That's why so I was bored by certain movies that I now love. And now this is one of them. And so, and just like touching the surface before we dive too deep into the story, I think it is really one of the things that made it boring for me as a kid, but I loved this time around, was every time that when we are in Asgard, it is like this very Shakespearean type movie. Like it feels very like Shakespeare inspired with just like the world, but also the dialogue and how they're talking. And that's like really intriguing, especially for a comic book movie, where I don't think we have very much of that. I think this is like the only movie that I can think of. I mean, I don't think Thor Dark World, I don't know if Thor Dark World has much of it. I know Ragnarok and Love and Thunder just kind of throws that out. I don't remember if Dark World did or not. But like, it's just like very like Shakespearean and epic when it comes, when we're on Asgard. And then even when we are on Earth, it is still entertaining, because it's just a fish out of water comedy, but it's also very important to Thor's character arc, which, speaking of, his character arc in this movie is great. Like, just such a complete turnaround for what his character is. It is great, kind of like the first Iron Man movie, where it is such a great character change. This one is also. And I think all the characters do an amazing job in the roles that they play in this movie. And I will say, I think this one, just like the first Iron Man movie, is so good at being standalone and a connection to the bigger MCU. Because, first of all, I think this movie works by itself. Like, the way they end this movie, I think works as, like, that's the end of the story. We're done. But it also doesn't close it off like a definitive end, because it is very easy to continue this story and do Avengers and do a Thor 2. So just like the first Iron Man movie, it does such a great job at being standalone, but also being a part of a bigger universe. And speaking of, it is supposed to take place in this universe that up to this point has been very like grounded and realistic. I mean, yes, a guy built a suit that I don't know if it's possible. I mean, maybe it is, I don't know. But it's very unlikely that you'll see someone with an Iron Man suit anytime soon, I think. And also, you know, I don't think anybody's turned into a big green guy in real life yet. So I know, yes, it is still like fictional, obviously, but it was very like much grounded in our world, almost like a Batman Begins, where it's like, yeah, it's very grounded in our world. No, to my knowledge, we don't have a guy dressed up as a bat beating up criminals at night. But very grounded in this world, and now this movie, it has the hard task of having a movie about gods and magic and another world, and try to fit it into this grounded universe. And it does such a great job. It does a great job because we are both expanding this world. Like, yes, there are the 7 realms. Yes, we do have Thor, Odin, Loki, and these Norse mythology, gods, and we have magic, but they do a great job of grounding where it's like, oh, magic is science, you just don't understand how it works yet. Science and magic are interchangeable. You just don't fully understand it yet. I think that is just such an amazing job, and I'm not even doing it justice here how I'm talking, but it does such an amazing job at like being like, yeah, they're interchangeable, you just don't fully understand it yet. You call it magic, we call it science, and I also think they do such an amazing job too at implementing the gods into the world, with the fact that they establish how many years ago these Norse mythology characters were real people, and I think they kind of do like a interesting job too, where they're not gods, they're just superpowered people, but the humans looked at them like gods because of them being superpowered and strong and protective. So that's how they were looked upon. But then as years passed, they kind of stuck to themselves in Asgard because of not really needing to do stuff on Earth. And after years of that, people have just started thinking, oh, that wasn't real, that was fiction, that was mythology. And that's how it became like known about the public, just like in real life, because the Norse mythology obviously is a thing in real life that we all know about, but it is all fiction, unless this movie is telling the truth, in which case where are the Avengers at? So I just think it does such a cool job at fitting this Norse mythology world into a pretty grounded world, and doing a great job at being a great standard solo movie while also being a great building block to a greater cinematic universe. And while also having a great character arc for Thor, where he starts off as this character that you don't really like and you kind of want to see fail, but then by the end of it he is awesome and you want to root for him. And there's also I think a pretty decent love story in this too. So I feel like I've been talking more general about it a bit. So let's dive deeper into the movie, shall we? Okay, I definitely did not forget to record this section while recording the main review, and I'm now recording it separately and editing into it where I normally had in the other reviews. Totally not, just ignoring the very obvious edit. Anyway, talking some details about Thor. It was officially released in theaters on May 2nd of 2011. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 54 minutes. It made at the worldwide box office, according to Box Office Mojo, around $449.3 million. And it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who I think did a pretty good job with the film. I really liked his style to the movie. Let's dive right into Thor. So the movie actually starts on Earth with Jane Foster, Eric Selvig, and Darcy. They're looking up into the stars, and then all of a sudden something crashes down. There's a crater, and then they eventually back their car up into this guy. Who is that guy? It is Chris Hemsworth, I mean Thor. And we also are right away introduced to these Dutch angles that the movie has become made fun of for. And I have to say, yes, I do think they're a bit overused. I think maybe we didn't need as many of them as we got, but it wasn't enough to pull me completely out of the movie. So like I have fun making fun of the movie also for it. Like I love the jokes of the tripod having a leg broken, but I would not call it a bad thing. I wouldn't have it be I would not include it as a negative just because it didn't pull me out of the movie or anything. It's just a funny detail in my opinion. Right, we now get some flashbacks where we hear Thor telling his father actually, Odin, telling the story of how years ago he had war against the frost giants and he battled with them, killing a bunch of them to keep control. But in more recent years, he kept a peace treaty. But he also stole their, oh man, I'm forgetting what it is called, but look, when he does this, that box right there, I forget what it's called. Oh, Thor's ice now. I forget what that thing is called, but that box, that ice box or whatever, is what he steals from him, but he might have stolen a little bit more. We see that he's telling this story to a child Thor and a child Loki. Child Loki is like, well, do we have to worry about the frost giants ever coming back? Meanwhile, child Thor is like, well, when I become king, I'm just gonna slaughter all of them. And then we get this awesome line from Odin, which is just like, a king I think it's here, maybe I'm misremembering when it happens, but a king doesn't look for war, but he's always ready for it. That was such a banger line. Like, that was awesome. I don't think I quoted it completely. If I find the clip, I'll put it in here, but that was such a good line by Odin, man.
When I'm king, I'll hunt the monsters down and slay them all. Just as you did, father.
A wise king never seeks out war, but he must always be ready for it.
And then we cut to a couple years later, we get Thor in the classic helmet, which we don't see very much. I don't think we see it really until the third one. He's like at this event where it seems like he's about to become king, but right as Odin is about to make him king, they are attacked by frost giants. So Thor does not become king, and they have this fight. Although we have no idea how they get in, Thor thinks that they should go after the frost giants because they attacked them, but Odin's like, no, this was an incident, we have to keep the peace. But Thor goes anyway. He assembles his team of the Warriors 3, Lady Sif and his brother Loki. Although part of this is also because of Loki whispering in his ear, being like, no, you're kind of right. They shouldn't have done this, and it might make Father proud. So, with help from Loki, he convinces him to go. Heimdall helps them get to Jotunheim, I believe is what the land of the frost giants. They confront them. Laufey is like, because you're young and dumb, pretty much, I'll give you this chance, just leave now, and I won't kill you. And then Thor's very angry about it, but he starts walking away. But then, when he calls, I forget what he calls him, something like a young, maybe young and dumb, like pretty much, and that angers Thor, and they start battling. They kill a bunch of frost giants. The frost giants try to kill them, but they're not successful. Although they get kind of close because the Warriors 3, Sif and Loki, well, kind of Loki, get hurt, injured, and damaged. And then there's an interesting thing where a frost giant grabs one of the Warriors 3, and it burns him because of how cold it is, giving him like a frostbite. But when a frost giant grabs Loki's arm, nothing happens, but his skin turns blue. What? I mean, us comic fans know what's going on, but for those of you more casual viewers, what's going on? Then Odin comes to save the day, kinda, but Odin asks for Laufey to forgive him because it's just a boy being dumb, and Laufey's like, yeah, no, this was an act of war, you just started a war, and we're not even at civil war yet, where that's a line. So due to Thor's carelessness, they're now back at war with the frost giants, and because of this, Odin strips Thor of his power and of his royalty. Is that the right word? And banishes him from Asgard, casts him out of Asgard. But before just letting the portal or whatever close, he whispers to Mjolnir the hammer, I don't remember the exact wording, but pretty much, if he be worthy, whoever holds his hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. And then he throws it through the portal, going to Earth with Thor.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
And then we go back to Earth, where Jane, Eric, and Darcy find him. They take him to a hospital where he tries to fight his way out because he's not sure what's going on, until they stick him with the needle to put him to sleep. We learn that Jane and her team have been researching like the space and even some of this Northology stuff, trying to figure it out, and they were like, where did this guy come from? Trying to learn that out, but they're losing funding, and then even S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to take away her research. We also get this hilarious joke where she backs her car into Thor once again. We got to catch up with the end credit scene from Iron Man 2, where we get, New Mexico, I believe, where the hammer in the crater, and a bunch of people are trying to lift it. They're unable to. They make like this whole event and cookout. We get one of my favorites, where they strap a chain to the hammer and a chain to the back of a pickup truck. The guy in the truck tries to move it, but it tears the back of the pickup truck off, and the driver pops his head out, and it's none other than Stanley, and he's like, did it work? I love his cameo here. And then we actually see that in credit scene from Iron Man 2 where Agent Coulson comes out of the car and he's like, yeah, we found it.
Did it work? Sir, we found it.
Back on Asgard, I'm not sure if I'm doing everything in the right order, but that's okay. Back on Asgard, though, Loki touches the box, this thing again. I need to learn what the name of it is. Maybe I'll find out what the name of it is while editing. And he starts to turn blue, and he questions. Odin's like, don't touch that. He questions Odin like, hey, what's going on? What am I? Odin responds with, you're my son. He's like, other than that. And then we get the explanation. Odin explains that while he was at war, he came across a baby frost giant, and he took the baby with him, claiming that it was for the baby's own good to protect him. But Loki's like, yeah, sure. Now what's the real reason? And Odin says, well, he thought that some good could come of it because it could also become, if Frost Giant is pretty much raised on Asgard, it could create peace between the two. And Loki's like, wow, how dare you? He yells at him, and then Odin falls into Odin sleep, which I kind of, is it just meme thing maybe, but I kind of feel like the Odin sleep thing is a bit too goofy. I don't know anything. All of my knowledge on Norse mythology comes from Marvel Comics, and even then, that's the weaker aspect of my comic book knowledge. My stuff is I'm a Spider-Man guy, okay? So I don't know if Odin's sleep is something from Norse mythology or if it's something from other Marvel comics, but to me it's a little silly. I almost wished, or maybe even just today, maybe they just like explained it a bit better, like, oh, Odin fell into his like couple 100-year Odin sleep or whatever it was. To me that's like, oh, that's a little silly, especially because this film is, I don't want to say dark and serious, because this movie is very comedic and funny, especially when we're on Earth, and sometimes you can even argue goofy, I guess, but it still fits with the tone, and especially the Asgard stuff. To me, it's just a bit sillier than I think it should have been, but it's okay. But you know, whatever. This also, because Thor has been banished and Odin's now in Odin's sleep, we need a new king, and that king is none other than Loki. Back on Earth, we have one of my favorite scenes also, where Thor is in a cafe with Jane and team, and they're drinking coffee, and he's like, oh, this is good. Darcy's like, I know, right? And I love this scene. Thor throws the mug on the ground, smashes it on the ground, and he goes, another. And they're just like, why'd you do that? He's like, it was really good. Oh, another. And they're like, oh yeah, you don't do that here.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
He questions a guy about the hammer, so he goes to find it. Oh, this is when S.H.I.E.L.D. takes Jane's stuff away, I'm pretty sure. Back on Asgard, the Warriors 3 and Sif ask if Loki would undo his banishment, and Loki's like, well, I can't just undo what Odin did. Psh. Something about Loki too in this, I feel like he's portrayed in such a different way in this movie than he is in some of the other movies, but it's a good thing. I don't necessarily think it was a bad thing. I don't think he was portrayed badly in any of the projects that he's in, but this one is just noticeably, just the way that he does things is a bit different. It probably helps that he is known to be a trickster but not evil yet, so he just does such a good job at like sounding genuine, and like he's like, oh yeah, Thor, you should do this because it's good, be good for Asgard, or oh, I can't unbanish Thor because then the new king is just first decrees to undo the last king's decree. That would create unsureness of the people or whatever. But it's all just because if I bring Thor back, I might not be king. We all know that's the truth, or he would stop my plan that we'll get to later. So yeah, also Jane ends up taking him to where the hammer is. The hammer, by the way, has now a shield facility behind it. We get this cool scene where well, first of all, we see an agent who actually becomes important in the Winter Soldier, which I found interesting. I completely forgot about. We get this action scene. Thor fights off some shield agents to get to the hammer. We get our first appearance of Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, one of my personal favorites. Thor tries to pick up the hammer, but he's unable to because he is unworthy. he's captured by Shield. They try to get answers from him because they don't believe that he's Thor, son of Odin, king or prince of Asgard. Loki is able to cast like a hologram or a version of himself onto Earth, and he lies to Thor, telling him that Odin is dead. He's not. He's just in Odin's sleep. That his mom hates him, which she doesn't, and that he can't come back. I forget the exact reason why, but that he cannot come back, and Thor believes him. Loki also weirdly tries to pick up the hammer, but is unable to. Maybe Loki actually is there. I thought he portrayed like a vision of himself, but maybe he was actually there. Now I'm not misremembering. Eric Selvig takes Thor to get a drink, and they drink together. Eric gets a little drunk because of it, so Thor takes him home. Back on Asgard, well, technically we see Loki goes to wherever it's called with the Frost Giants again, Jotunheim, where they're talking, and we find out that they got in during Thor's coronation. Is that what that thing that's called? And he's like, oh, we had a deal. I helped break you in, and I hide you from Heimdall's sight. We're like, what? So Loki playing the whole thing. He's working with the Frost Giants, and he even is helping them to kill Odin once and for all. Heimdall gets suspicious when he couldn't see where Loki was, and he's starting to put things together. But now we go back to Earth where Loki's talking to Jane? Whoops. Thor is talking with Jane, and this is where we get the exposition, which is also really cool how they do it, where, like I've discussed earlier, Jane explains how, Norse mythology is all like this fiction stuff, and Thor's like, yeah, about that it was actually real, but we haven't been here for a while, so you think that, and also science is magic, and magic is science. So, that's where we get that exposition. Back on Asgard, the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif are like, we need Thor. So that with the help of Heimdall, they go to Earth, but Loki also sends the destroyer armor to Earth as well. That we get this awesome reunion between all these friends, but the destroyer finds them, and then we get some more of Thor's awesome character arc, because unlike before when he was super selfish and was willing to kill everybody, when he finds out the destroyer armor is being controlled by Loki, and also the Warriors 3 and Sith tell him that Loki was lying. Odin is in Odin's sleep. His mom misses him, and he technically can come back. It's just Loki doesn't want him back. He sacrificed himself, and it's like, you know what? Take me. Let Jane and her crew, and let the Warriors and Sith, let them go. Take me instead. And then the destroyer smacks him. He's about to die, but then he becomes worthy. Mjolnir flies to him, and he catches it. He gets his power back, and he becomes Thor, the god of thunder, once again. We get this awesome fight where he destroys the destroyer armor, and then he tells Shield to give Jane her stuff back, which they agree to. Heimdall opens up the portal to bring Thor and them back to Asgard. Thor and Jane share a kiss, and he's like, don't worry, I'll be back. Well, that might not be true, but they end up back in Asgard for our awesome third act where they confront each other. I'm also misremembering when certain things happen in this order, but I know Laufey goes to kill Odin, but Loki kills Laufey before he's able to kill Odin, so he's just like betraying everybody. And the reason for this is he's actually doing this to hopefully try to impress his father. Him and Thor end up on the Rainbow Bridge where they battle for a while, but he's using the Bifrost to destroy Jotunheim and wipe out everybody in it, which is all the Frost Giants. Thor's like, we can't do that, which is, again, great character arc because that's what he wanted to do at the beginning of the film. So now he's going to make a sacrifice to save them. What is that sacrifice? He's going to destroy the Rainbow Bridge and the Bifrost, even though that means he will never be able to go back to Earth, meaning he will never see Jane again. And Loki reminds him of this, say, you can't do that. You'll never see her again. And Thor's like, forgive me, Jane. Bang! He breaks it, destroys the Bifrost. Loki's about to fall to his death. Loki reveals that he was doing it for his father, for Odin. He did. We get this line that comes back around in the Loki television series, where he's like, I did it for you, for all of us. Odin's like, no, showing that everything that Loki was doing this for is for nothing. So Loki lets go, falls to his death as Thor screams in sadness.
I could have done it, Father. I could have done it. For you. For all of us.
No, Loki.
Loki, no.
Loki is dead. He is dead. He is never coming back. Loki is gone forever. And I can't believe it, guys. Loki died. And we're never going to see him again. What a shame. Hope you guys enjoyed Loki while he lasted, because he's gone forever now. Yep. Definitely won't come back again. Back on Earth, Jane waits for Thor, but no response, so she kind of has to just move on. On Asgard, things continue. Odin is awake now, by the way. He's back to being king. Thor is back to being prince. Loki is gone, but Thor is very sad because he misses Jane. And Thor's like, there'll never be a king wiser than you. And he's like, I'm not ready to be king. Which is, again, kind of like a Simba arc right here, where Simba and Thor at the beginning of the film was like, I'm going to be king, and I want to be king now. I just can't wait to be king. And now then the movie like, I can't be king. Only difference is Simba does become king at the end of Lion King. Thor doesn't here, but he does later, but not for long. We'll get to that when we get to that in future movies. He's like, you'll be a good king someday. and then Thor goes to Heimdall to finish the movie, and it's like, how is Jane? And he's like, she's doing well. She waits for you. She misses you. And we cut to Thor's face when we cut the black. Like I said, I think this is... Oh, credits, by the way. I think this was a great movie. But before we talk anymore, we should probably talk about the end credit scene. Because the end credit scene here actually starts with Thor will return in the Avengers, which is kind of funny because now they did change it more recently, like Phase 3, where you get the end credit scene and then this character will return in this. Now it is Thor will return in the Avengers, and then we get our end credit scene, which we see Eric Selvig talking to Nick Fury. Nick Fury is like, well, so the crazy thing about history and myth or legend is that sometimes we find an object that is a part of both, and he shows them this blue cube, which is none other than the Tesseract. And then all of a sudden Loki appears in like a reflection and says, well, isn't that exciting? And then Eric Selvig says that exact line, well, isn't that exciting? So Loki's alive? What? I never would have guessed it. Loki isn't dead? I can't believe this. This is such a shock that Loki's actually alive. Guys, can you believe this? This is crazy. Wow, what a reveal. You know, they probably can't play that again because I don't know if it'll be as shocking, but wow, what a shock. Anyway.
Legend tells us one thing, history another. But every now and then we find something that belongs to both.
What is it?
Power, Doctor. If we can figure out how to tap it, maybe unlimited power.
Well, I guess that's worth a look. Well, I guess that's worth a look.
And that is Thor. Like I said, I think this movie is amazing, and I cannot believe I had it so low at one point in time. I even, on the Letterboxd, if you follow that, I even upped its original star rating. So, because, wow, I forgot how good this movie is. It is great, it's Shakespearean, it's funny, it's got great, it's a father-son story, it's a brother story, it's a redemption story, a prince wants to be king but learns that he's not ready to be king yet. This movie truly is great, and I can't believe I forgot about it, and I think you might have forgotten it too. So if you haven't seen Thor in a long time, go watch it if you haven't already. I mean, I feel like you should rewatch it to join me on this road to Doomsday. But if you haven't, please do yourself a favor and rewatch Thor, because it is so good. I seriously forgot how good this movie was. and I kind of can't believe it. And if you have recently rewatched it and you still think, this movie's not that good, are you crazy? Okay, I'm kidding. You're not that crazy. But this movie was so good. And I don't know if I talked about this or not. Just real quick thing before we end. I know there's rumors of there being a Thor 5. I don't know if there will be or not. But if we do get a Thor 5, I kind of want Kenneth Branagh to return to direct it, because I thought he did such a good job with this movie, and I kind of would love for him to come back and do another Thor movie if they continue with Thor. I'd also speak with the Russo brothers, because I love how they did in Infinity War, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, thank you guys so much for taking time to watch this video. If you like it, please hit like. I've been talking longer than I thought I would. Please subscribe and join me on this road to Doomsday, because next is Captain America, the First Avenger, and I can't wait, because I remember loving that one too. Talk to you guys later. Bye. That was the wrong button.